quorum. There's 4 of the 7. Oh, and we're being recorded. We have 4 of the 7 board members. So do we have the notes from the previous meeting? Does anybody, can I get a motion to pass those? Or any comments or edits?
I don't think you have the notes. I requested the notes. I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah, I just noticed that. That doesn't surprise me. So we'll table the notes until the next meeting, unless there's something else we can do.
Also, too, Rawls, I'm going to go ahead and take minutes for this meeting and
Thank
record it. Yeah, so I have that signature from one member of the P&Z or 2 members of the P&Z so that we can approve minutes for next session.
Okay, and if you need me to sign something, just holler. I'm next door. Okay, so we'll move on if there's no discussions of the meetings. Now help me out here, David. Do we have a motion for the public hearing, or can we just move right into it, the public part?
We just move right into it.
Okay, so the first issue will address a public hearing to obtain citizen views and comments concerning a conditional use permit application for an established bed and breakfast to sell alcohol to guests only. Property is located 403 North 8th Street. Record owner is Thomas and Sharon Kellner. So we'll open the floor up to comment, and I noticed that Tom and Sharon are here, so I invite them to go ahead and speak first since they are the permittees.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Hello.
Glad to be here. I'm Tom. This is Sharon, and just here to answer any questions that y'all might have about our application.
Well, we can start, I guess, by telling you what we do, and what we're wanting to do is, of course, we have a bed and breakfast. It's got 4 rooms, and we would like just to be able to offer wine to our guests and our guests only, and just on our property, and just as part of the it's part of what we offer, part of the experience.
Yeah, enhance their experience with us.
Yeah, we'll do some tastings. We already offer cheese and crackers and different afternoon dishes. So there's food available as well. So pretty simple.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody else from the public on the Zoom call this evening that would like to make a comment about this application? I take that as a no. If somebody pops in, that's okay. So now we'll move into action items, and I believe I need to get a motion here to discuss, consider, and take action on a conditional use permit application to allow for an established bed and breakfast to sell alcohol to guests only. Property is located at 403 North 8th Street. Record owner is Thomas and Sharon Kellner. Can I get a motion to discuss this, please?
So move.
Thank you. And a second?
I second.
Thank you. So I'll open the floor to any questions or comments that people have.
Hey, I had one question. Your TABC license, do you know the actual license that TABC is granting you?
I can understand.
The actual license. It's a G. What is it? G.
It's a BG, which is for beer and wine only, and that's the way TABC presents it. There's no such thing as a wine only license, but that's all we're going to be interested in selling. And again, only to paying guests staying with us at the bed and breakfast.
Thanks.
Anybody else have any comments or input? Okay.
Just that to me, that was the key question was, does it require a state liquor license? And y'all have obviously already dealt with that. So that's good.
In the process, part of our application to TABC requires a sign off from a county representative, secretary, as well as the city. Have to send that in with the application at TABC, so it'll still be a month or 2 after all that's prepared and sent into them before it can possibly be approved and get the actual license.
Right. And we go through the same as any other, we have to go through the same as any other license requestee.
Yeah.
Sending out the letters to everybody, which we have prepared already, putting the posting in our front window, which we've done, and putting an ad in the paper, which we're waiting until we get passed through P&Z.
Yeah, no, we've already done the ad. in the
Oh, we
paper.
did the ad in the paper? Oh, we
Yeah.
did the ad in the paper already.
With
So
with the avalanche.
Tom's in charge of it.
Yeah, so we've done that. It's a several step process, and so and in anticipation of, you know, with optimism here, in anticipation of being approved, we already have a surety bond and other insurance added to our annual and you know, insurance that we have to be in business, to include you know, special coverage for liquor related issues.
Right.
And y'all are envisioning actually charging $10 a glass or whatever, as
Mhm.
opposed
Yeah.
to raising the cost of a room by $10 to cover that.
Correct. Yeah, it's kind of a separate issue. Not everybody that stays with us will want any wine, but those that do then don't have to leave the premises and drive across town somewhere to get it or anything like that. They can just stay here and relax, or go hike in Big Bend and come back and not have to go anywhere else in the evening. So, but yeah, that's it. We'll probably do some tasting, sell it by the glass, and then if they want to buy a bottle, they can also do that and take it with them when they leave, or enjoy it on the property here somewhere.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Anybody else have any comments or questions? Okay, I will say that, just full disclosure, I live next door to Tom and Sharon, and so when I first saw the liquor's TABC permit in the window, I did a little bit of research and talked to a few people, and I've talked with them several times about it. And to be honest, everything they've done with the bed and breakfast is really very professional and very well done. And I don't see why this would be any different at all. I think they've done a really good job, and their clientele that they attract is, I don't think it's going to be rowdy drinking, hanging off the porch at 3 a.m. from.
I was going to say, just yeah, point of reference, as far as I know, we've never had the police or anybody called on us over here for any problem.
Yeah, and so, but I just want to say we are neighbors, so that probably does take my, opinion to the good. But everything I've seen them do with the bed and breakfast is, it's well done, and I think it adds value to Alpine. So that's all I've got to say.
Thank you, Alice. And just as a side note also, and we worked with Dave a lot on code enforcement. We weren't even going to buy the building unless we knew we could get it up to code, for any code, so that it would be professional and we could get the permit to be a bed and breakfast. So everything that we've done, even before we purchased the operation, was according to, city expectations. We've had, we've always had business insurance. Dave's been in to inspect all of our, we've pulled permits for all of our renovation and been inspected and everything. And that's just the way we operate, and the way we've always expected to operate.
Yeah, our one of our taglines on our website is elevate your Alpine experience, and that's what we're trying to do another step further with the wine permit. And also, as another side note, anybody can go to our website or go on Google and see us and check out our reviews. Just a nod to the professionalism we're trying to put forth here across all platforms where anybody can make a reservation. We have all 5-star reviews, save for one that was 4-star, and that's it so far in a year.
And we have almost 150 reviews across many different platforms, and we pay our hotel and occupancy taxes too.
We do, sometimes more than we were supposed to pay, but
yeah,
anyway,
we did that a couple of times.
So anyway, yeah,
And
trying to be
one comment that I like about y'all's business is I believe you're preserving an historic home. Is that correct?
True, this is the Kincaid Wade House, built in
Yeah.
1887. So we're definitely trying to maintain the best of that. And, all of our renovations we did not affect really the overall floor plan or the original woodwork, hardwood floors, or all the brick on the outside of the house or anything. That's still the way it was when we got it.
Yeah.
And
Well,
David,
thank y'all for doing that. It is a beautiful restoration.
Thanks so much.
Thank
I'll
you.
call the question, Rawls, unless there's something else.
No, go ahead and we just need a motion.
Okay,
Oh.
I call the question.
So
think-
go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
So can we get a motion to approve the application?
I will move that we approve this permit.
And a second?
Second.
Do we have a second? So everybody who's in favor, please wiggle your fingers.
I'll say aye, because I don't think you can
That'll
see
work.
me.
That'll work. And I believe there's no nays left, but are there any nays? So I believe it passed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Tom and Sharon. I appreciate your patience with all this.
Uh,
So David, I'm gonna swing it back to you do we need to move into B and it's C and D we're gonna skip?
We're removing B, C, and D. And we go back into, I'm gonna go ahead and comment on Abbey Branch found a discrepancy within the original ordinance and brought it to my attention. I went back and reviewed it with the chief of police. And the original ordinance was written for 8 machines. There was a limit of 8 machines, and then anything beyond 8 machines, there was a SUP attached to it. Once that left my desk, basically it got changed, the verbiage got removed, it went through city council. I believe if we remember when we did anyone review that ordinance in P&Z prior to it going to city council?
Not that I remember.
Okay, so that was on the books. So somehow it got removed, and I don't know. We haven't determined on who removed it, but we know that it was prior to it getting approved. So right now, the special use permits for these coin-operated establishments are void. So we have to remove them. We can't actually go through we can't go through the SUP process. The new ordinance that was adopted and amended was also, I didn't have anything to do with the amendment of that new ordinance. That was all city attorney and city administration. And that verbiage was still not in the new ordinance. So once again, we'll have to go back and determine what we're going to do with coin-operated establishments, and if we're going to amend those the amended ordinance, or if we're going to come back and just make them illegal completely. We just haven't decided yet. So that's where we stand on action items B, C, and D.
Okay. It seems to take up a lot of time. The agenda, especially when we're capped. If we're already at our cap, I'm not sure why we're taking new permits.
While we're taking the permits,
Yeah, if we're at a cap, because it's 4 commercial ones and 1 nonprofit, is that correct?
previously on the original ordinance, it was unlimited. The new amended ordinance is now 4. 4, and then basically you can have as many as you want as far as fraternal organizations, but 4 that's permitted within the city, and then anything after 4 is put on the waiting list. So that's how the new ordinance reads.
And then I think, go ahead.
And then just to confirm, so each establishment is allowed up to 8 machines, period.
Well, okay. And thank you very much, Addie, for reading through that ordinance, the ordinance that they have now. When I wrote this ordinance, the 8 machines in the SUP were part of that application process in section 9104. However, when it left my desk prior to approval with city council, that verbiage was removed by someone that I do not know who removed that verbiage. And then it was approved by city council. So that's why we're doing these SUPs. However, now I'm looking back and that verbiage is not there. So technically we can't do SUPs. They can have as many machines as they want right now. And so I can call chief of police and talk to him, and he remembered us putting that in the ordinance. And we remember having the workshop and that we submitted it that way. And now we have no idea who took that out.
So do we need an agenda item for the next meeting for us all to do our homework, to read the ordinance and come back and talk about it again?
We could. Yeah, we could actually go back, read the ordinance and see what our recommendations are for coin operated machines.
I think it's better to be proactive because we seem to get a lot of these, so we should figure out what's really the best for Alpine.
I was completely under the impression that that verbiage was still attached to the original approved ordinance. Yeah.
Well, that would be my proposal, that we make it an agenda item to look at. Everybody read it and talk about it. We don't have to talk about it for hours.
Yeah.
But, maybe kind of come back with and get a little bit of a plan how to move forward with it, because it's not going to go away.
So we'll just go ahead and read through the new amended adopted ordinance. And does everybody have a copy of that?
I don't, the new one was on the website.
Okay.
Can you send it to us?
I can send it to each person. Yes.
Thank you, David.
Yeah.
So do we need to read these, or are we just cancel them? BC.
Yeah, we're removing them. We're scratching them.
Okay. So we'll just move on. If there's any citizen comments. Board member comments? I've got a question, like say for this agenda item, David, can you make sure it gets on the next meeting, or should one of us send something to, I'm not sure who, we'll find out tonight. Later.
This is, if I have it my way, I'm going to take P&Z over from this point forward. So I'm going to go ahead and do the only thing I'm not going to do is the publications. Everything else, I'm going to go ahead and make the agendas, have everything written up, take all the minutes for P&Z, reach out to each individual member prior to P&Z with a packet, a brief, so that everybody is on the same page and knows what's going on. What I've been waiting for 3 months now was City Hall to put things on the agenda items, and they've never gotten put on there. So I'm behind quite a bit. So the only action that I'm not going to do is the actual publication in the paper.
Copy.
Everything else is I'm going to take over as far as P&Z. And then also I'm changing the job description of my permit tech, and now she is the planning tech for the city, and that she will be doing most of the work for P&Z. So if you need anything, you can contact her. Plats, things like that. We're going to run that. I'm going to send all that to you via email so that everybody has all the information prior to even coming to P&Z.
Perfect.
And I don't know how much has been sent to you in the past so that you're prepared, but it seems like very little.
Well, that, and we've expressed some concern in the past about very little getting passed on, which seemed to be the management strategy.
Yeah.
That they really didn't want stuff written down, that might come back later. So I think that's good too. It's good to have one person.
Yeah. Well, we'll make it much more clear, and we'll have more information and documentation.
Perfect.
And then last month when we met, we discussed adding an agenda item to where if a representative from these coin operated machines wasn't present, that we could dismiss. dismiss the action item. Does anybody else recall that?
I do. We talked about that, changing the verbiage, and I think it's a really good idea. I mean, if they're not here for the meeting to get a new coin operated station or a thing, I think it should just, we say no,
Right.
you know, and I mean, what we did say was that maybe we ask them, we table it and ask them to come back the second time, but they don't seem to be coming back the second time. So-
You need to show some interest. I think that's probably a pretty good rule.
Yeah, I think they need to defend their case or we're not going to consider it. Because a lot of them are people driving down from Odessa, it seems like, just wanting to open up a game room and run. But I guess we need to have an agenda item to dial in that verbiage.
We'll read through the ordinance, the existing ordinance right now. And if we need to include any verbiage, also too, when we had these P and Z packets out, or these SUPs or CUPs, we'll add it to the SUP or CUP that they actually have to be present, or they have to have a designee, someone representing them to be present. Yeah.
All right, any more comments? So can I get a motion that we're done?
I move we adjourn.
And a second?
I second.
Thank you, guys. I can count on you. And all in favor of going home?
Aye.
All right, thank you, David, for everything you're doing. We appreciate it.
Okay, thanks. I
Bye.
appreciate it.
Okay, bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night.